Hi, my name is Eric Lee, and I am a Senior Deployment Specialist at Central Nervous Systems. In this video, we will look at the workflow to create and process time entries for equipment and employees. For more information on project creation, please check out our other video and see how projects are created and resources such as equipment and employees are assigned. To begin, let me log into Acumatica as admin. Next, we go to the Time and Expenses workspace, and we will find the business functions for time reporting grouped under time tracking. Let us first look at equipment time cards. Each time card covers one equipment over a standard work week. I will go ahead and select the Nissan truck that we use for our project. Every equipment is set up with a default run rate. To enter equipment runtime, from the Summary tab, we enter the project ID, pick out the task that the equipment was used for, and enter the time. From the pull-down menu, we can see the time goes in half-an-hour increment. For specific time, we can enter manually with hour and minute. Repeat over as many days as the equipment was used. If equipment usage is accounted for as project disbursement, make sure to check the record as billable. After all usage hours have been recorded for the week, save the record and under Actions, submit the time card for approval. We can see from the Approval tab that either a specific employee or someone from the operations workgroup can process it. So I'll go ahead with the approval. Once approved, we can release the time card to post hours to the project. Next, let's look at employee time cards. Employee time card works in a similar way to cover work hours. Like equipment having a run rate, every employee is set up with a labor rate. Employee time cards can be used to record hours for salary and hourly employees. But with Acumatica's unlimited user licensing model, subcontractors can become a separate employee class and can access time cards. The recorded hours will provide accounts payable with information for efficient invoice matching. I will go ahead and create a time card for David Chubb, who is our senior consultant. In the Summary tab, we select an earning type, enter the project, the task he worked on, his labor item, which is the role he played, and the hours he worked. Project hours are usually billable for projects. As you can see from the earning type, we will pick RG for regular hours, OT for overtime, and DT for double time. Simply enter the number of hours worked under those circumstances. For role-based costing, David has a default role as a senior consultant. But if he acts as a different role for part of the workday, we can add a new line and alter his role for the time worked in that capacity. Let me demonstrate. Let's say David worked on planning on Wednesday. and he worked 6 hours. For the rest of that day, he worked on the same project, same task, but as a PM instead of a senior consultant. We also can enter non-billable hours. Under earning type that are associated with non-billable hours will apply the non-project code X. And the earning type associated with that are vacation, holiday, sick time, and bank time. Let me demonstrate how bank time works. Let's say David worked an 11-hour day. First, we enter his time under RG. On the next line, we choose BK as our earning type. Apply that against the non-project code X. And for time, we put a negative quantity of -3 hours, which acts as an offset to the extra time he worked under RG. To draw down bank time, we enter this new record for BK, but with a positive quantity. And let's say David wants to take the rest of that day off. We are going to use some of his vacation time. Non-inventory items, such as consumable and mileage, can be added to the Materials tab, which allow them to be reviewed and approved along with time entries. For example, mileage. We are going to record some mileage for David to travel to the work site. We will pick an inventory ID, mileage, and we see that mileage is a kilometer, which allows us to record his mileage for the days he traveled. Employee time cards are typically submitted to supervisors for approval. Once approved, accounting can release those hours to the project. I will go ahead and submit the time card. We can see that Michael is assigned to approved, and those working in the executive work group can also approve this time card. I will go ahead and approve and release his time card. This concludes the steps to create equipment and employee time cards, approving them according to the approval workflow, and posting these billable costs to the project. To see how we process other project cost inputs, such as expenses and purchases, please check out our other videos.